Three jurors have already been picked, with nine more needed, plus alternates in the Derek Chauvin trial. Of course, he is the former Minneapolis police officer who is charged with George Floyd's death. Jury selection is set to resume this morning, so join us now to talk about it. We love her. She is our legal expert, Candace Kelley. Good morning, Candace. Thanks again for being on BNC. I am looking at these three jurors, and if I am the prosecution, or if I'm rooting for the prosecution, I'm a bit concerned. Candace, should I be?
Yeah, I would be a little bit concerned. So far, we've got two white men for sure, and there's another woman. In terms of her ethnic identity, we're not quite sure what she is. But key to this is, I think, that the defense attorney, Eric Nelson, has used two of his peremptory challenges, and he's gotten rid of two Latinos. And so that definitely brings a concern. I mean, one of them seemed like there was a language barrier, and which Judge Peter Cahill said, you know what, there's going to be a lot of people who may not be sophisticated in the terms the way that you think, whether they are English speaking or non-English speaking. People just generally are not sophisticated jurors. So he did not accept that as a reason for cause in order to get rid of a juror. So Eric Nelson, the defense attorney, he decided, I'm going to get rid of them and use a peremptory challenges where you don't really have to give a reason in terms of getting rid of them. Now, they have 15 peremptory challenges, so you really have to play a game because they don't know who these other 9 people are and how many other peremptory challenges they're going to use. It's a card game. You don't know what's in the other person's hand. You don't know exactly what juror is going to say, so you have to play it closely. So far, I'd be concerned if I were the prosecution.
Explain that for me, Candace, real quick, because the periphery challenge. The defense gets 15, and the prosecution only gets 9. Why is there a discrepancy there?
Well, when you're the defendant, you are the person who is guaranteed the Sixth Amendment right to a fair trial. So you give the defendant a little bit more of an advantage, if you will, in order to make sure that things do happen for the defendant, depending upon who they are, because they are innocent until proven guilty. And you want to make sure that it kind of evens out equally, because already they're put in a bad position, right? Because they have been accused of something, but yet we don't know whether they're innocent or not. So again, we look at the Sixth Amendment and it really guaranteeing a fair trial for the defendant who is on the stand. But you're right, these peremptory challenges are very, very questionable because of the fact that you can try to ask the judge to get rid of them for a reason, which you may essentially be making up. But then if the judge denies it, you can just say, well, I'll get rid of them anyway and use one of my challenges.
So the Mexican woman who the defense got rid of for that language barrier, the judge said no, as you indicated, Candace, and then they said, okay, we're just going to be done with her. She had said, I don't think what happened to George Floyd was fair. Right. I, though, want to talk about the chemist who I think said, I don't think black people are necessarily treated fairly by police, but I think all lives matter. Blue lives matter, right?
Yes.
And yesterday when we talked to jury consultant Joellen Demetrius, she said, if you belong or believe Black Lives Matter and you put that down, you're probably out. So why was that okay?
Yeah, well, that's where the questioning comes in. If you put that Black Lives Matter, it doesn't necessarily mean you are completely out. It just means that maybe this it brings a rise so that the attorneys have to ask the question, well, what exactly do you mean? Because what happens, and this is what the judge tells each potential juror, you might have written something on the questionnaire. You may need to clarify. You may have changed your mind. Let us know. And we saw a lot of that going on. So maybe somebody put, I think that Black Lives Matter or Black Lives do matter, and then there's just more clarification. It's okay to write that because everybody's been exposed to it. But what exactly do you mean by it, and how firmly do you believe in it? You mentioned the chemist. I also think that it was really interesting that he said he's never seen the video. He said he's seen a photo. Right. I did a little myself. But you have to wonder, well, where have you been? You've been in the lab that long as a chemist? Okay. But this is what he said, and we were supposed to take potential jurors at their word.
Yeah, it seemed a little polished up, if you ask me. Candace Kelley, you're going to stick around. We're going to really lean on you because When we next
Yes.
talk to you, we want to talk about the speed that they are picking this jury. We were told 3 weeks, Candace, so we want to get your thoughts on that when we get you back here. Our special coverage, George Floyd death, justice on trial, continues tonight at 9 o'clock, 9 Eastern. Hope you'll join me. In-depth coverage, impactful guests. We've had 2 members of George Floyd's family, his cousin last night, his younger brother the day before, and that perspective that you'll only get right here on BNC. Now later on, the FBI releasing new security